Hello everyone, welcome to the session on how to upgrade on-premise legacy AX to Dynamics 365 for finance and operations. Wow, that's a mouthful. So if I, at any point in this session, said AX, you know what I mean. Okay, just to put it out there. So welcome again. My name is Paul Wu. I'm the Principal Solution Architect on the R&D group. I see some familiar faces here. Welcome to our session. Robert, you want to introduce yourself?
Good morning. My name is Robert, by the way. I'm a program manager on the platform team. I work closely with Paul on everything related to... Okay, now the mic works. I work closely with Paul on everything related to upgrade ALM and lifecycle in AX or AX7.
Yep. So today we're going to talk about upgrade. You guys know the drill. In terms of agenda, we're going to split the session into two parts. The first part, I'm going to cover 2009 migration, and then Robert's going to cover 2012 upgrade. So let's just dive right into it. So just a show of hands, how many you guys here are 2009 customers? All right. Partners? Okay, cool. There's more customers in the room. Awesome. So why do we call this a migration? Anybody? Right. So how many of you have actually started your implementation or migration project? Okay, a few hands. Okay, so let me just give a little bit of background here. The reason why we're calling it 2009 a migration and 2012 an upgrade is because if you have been through, let me ask this question. How many of you are 2012 customers? How many of you have started an implementation project for D365? Okay, a few hands. Okay, so if you have started or heard about it, I'm sure Robert will dive into the details later. For 2012, we actually do have a code upgrade tool and data upgrade tools and so on and so forth, which Robert's going to give you more details on. But for 2009, simply because there's the functional parity between 2009 and D365 is not there. So we're not giving you guys a code upgrade tool is not the highest priority. So what's the biggest thing we can give you guys that would make the biggest impact in your migration process? That would be a data migration tool, right? So that's why we're calling it a migration instead of an upgrade. So in terms of, let me start with the roadmap. In terms of roadmap, at this point, it's going to be a private preview. So we have a tool called Data Migration Tool. We've run a whole bunch of workshops in North America and Europe. Anybody has actually been to one of those workshops? No? Hey, Marco. Thank you. Yep. So, okay, for those of you who has not, we still have a series of workshops coming up. I highly encourage you guys to go. It's a free workshop. You just need to pay your travel. It's a 2-day workshop. Most likely, we're going to have another one. It's organized by the user group. We're going to have another couple more in Europe, a couple more in North America. So be on the lookout for those sessions. It's super informative sessions that actually gets into the nitty-gritty details of doing the migration, gets hands-on experience with the tool, and so on and so forth. It's a 2-day workshop, so highly encourage you guys to do so. We are not GAing this tool primarily because we don't yet have live 2,000 customers who's taking their implementation live in D365 through these set of tools and processes. So our target today is to work with you guys, have customers live, have partners be familiar with this tool. Successful go lives would be our criteria, exit criteria in terms of declaring GA on this tool. Okay? And if you say, yeah, I'm ready to engage with you guys, I'm ready to give feedback, this link is where you can go and fill out a quick survey. Depends on which industry you're looking to implement. We'll pick some potential candidates from that program to work with you. The team that will be engaging with you guys is the fast track team. I don't know if you guys have heard about the fast track team. So in the fast track team, we have different programs. If you go visit our booth at the expo, there will be some guys there that should be able to tell you guys more about the fast track team. All right. So let's talk more about exactly what this migration entails. So when we say migration, I'm sure you guys have done other type of data migration projects, right? When we say data migration, automatically, what type of data are you guys thinking about migrating? I mean, kind of show you guys the answer before I ask the question, but I'm still going to ask the question anyway. So are you thinking customers, employees, vendors, products, right? Master type of data. You would migrate from your legacy system to D365. In this case, from 2009 to D365 for ops. Obviously, setup and configuration, system setup things like number sequences, users, user groups, security roles, right? Well, did we have security roles in 2009? No? Yes? We had user groups, right? Yep. So we didn't have security role. So that's a challenge. Obviously, open balances, because we do not encourage you to move transactional data, right, for various reasons, which I'll get into the details. We also say when you move documents, don't move anything that's posted or even partially posted, partially received purchase orders or partially invoiced sales orders. Just close out as much as possible from the source side and move what's left as open documents to the target. Okay? Obviously, they can get into very complex scenarios where you have like I said, partially received purchase orders, partially invoiced purchase orders, things like that. And then you'll have to work with your functional folks to figure out a way to kind of close them out, or either invoice with do a zero invoice, move it over to the target side, and then repost to adjust. Whatever you figure out with your business team, you need to make sure they sign off on the process. In terms of open balances, since we're not moving transactional data, you have to generate basically journals to post to create your open balance on the target side. So that should be pretty straightforward for your financial accounts and inventory accounts and all that. Any comments on not having the ability to migrate transactional data, basically posted historical transactions? Any comments, feedback on that? No? So you guys are cool with our story? No? Okay, so yeah. So let me say, let's keep the session interactive. So if you guys have questions, comments on the stuff, either that's on the slide that I didn't talk about, or yes, questions? Yep, so the question is, if you don't move historical stuff, how can we do machine learnings and AIs and all that, right? The next level kind of stuff, which is good. We all know if you need machine learning and AI, they work on your volume. If you don't have volume data there, then it's, the story's not there. We're not saying forget about your transactional data, right? It's just the reason why we're not moving transactional data is because when you post a journal in 2009 and when you post a journal to even 2012 or D365, they actually hit very different tables. Right? And if you try to hydrate whatever was posted in 2009 and then kind of try to either post them or repost them in the target system or move them as is, for either reporting or historical lookup, it's not a very good story there. And so it's a really messy project to run. And we've seen a lot of people and partners and customers try to do that, even from when they moved from 2009 to 2012, we actually have a data upgrade. So they were able to move. But if you try to move from 2009 directly to D365 with posted transactions, it's not so easy. So we just say, as a good rule of thumb, just don't do it, right? Going back to your machine learning question, or even not even talking about machine learning and AI next level, let's talk about BI and reporting or historical transaction lookup, right? That's very practical topics that people need to do on a daily basis. What do we do? The option that we're going to tell you guys is You can either archive your historical transactions to another external data warehouse type of solution if you already have one, right? And then do your reporting there. Or we've seen customers do, what they do is they actually move the data they need to move into, instead of moving them from 2009 into target tables in D365, they move into staging tables. So they can do the lookup and joins and reporting against that, right? So you have no, and when I say staging, it's not our target tables that we use out of the box to do our finance, general ledger stuff, right? It's the staging tables only there for lookup. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, so the question is, would it be worth it to do a 2-hop upgrade? We know there are partners out there who's actually offering this as an official offer. It's definitely a 2-hop project you have to manage, right? There's more work. You have to do, in terms of functional validation, it's pretty much the same, right? The benefit, obviously, to do a 2-hop is you get your code and data there. If you do 1-hop, we don't have a code migration story for you. You kind of have to evaluate the fit gap and re-implement, versus when you jump from 2009 directly to 2012, you have tools there to help you to do that evaluation, to do the fit gap. Right? And then there are partners who are out there who have experience doing the same thing. Yeah. It's really a case-by-case basis. Yeah.
Some way you are able to move the toolset storage and protect which kind of database limitation you have to move everything now, also for the cloud.
Yes. Very good comment. Thank you, Marco. Another, so the comment Marco made was, if you want to move historical transactions, right? And when we talk about transaction tables, that's where your volume is. If you look at a terabyte database, a large portion of that terabyte data is going to be your transactional data, right? When you store these data on-prem, I'm not saying you're not paying the cost, but the cost is I need to be careful here. When you move the same amount of data to the cloud storage actually costs you money, right? There's a certain amount of storage space that comes with your license, but if you exceed what that comes with the license, you have to pay extra for SQL storage. So while there is benefits in having your transactional data there for various reasons, but there's a cost associated with it, right? If your reporting solution still sits on premise, then there's not a whole lot of point in bringing historical transaction stuff to the cloud. Okay? So, yes? Sorry, can you repeat that? Yeah, it doesn't matter which type of historical transaction, as long as whatever you posted hit the account, we consider it as posted transactions, and we do not recommend you moving it from 2009 to D365. You're pretty much doing the same thing, right? You look at the balances for your fixed asset accounts, and then just generate a journal and post to the open balance. Okay. All right. Good discussion. So in terms of the very high-level overview, there's very simple: analyze, execute, and validate. So in the analysis phase, I'll go into each phase kind of in details. Analysis phase, you do, because there's, like we discussed, between 2009 and D365, functionally, a lot of difference, right? If you just name a few, what's the top difference between 2009 and D365? Just kind of name a few, if you would. Like chart of accounts, maybe it's different, right? Dimension. In terms of the data structure, functionally, obviously it's chart of accounts. But the underneath, because we're talking about data migration here, right? The hard part of data migration is if the data schema underneath actually changed, you have to transform them, right? So if you look at the data schema between 2009 and D365, the biggest change, some of the areas that has the biggest change in terms of data schema are chart of accounts, dimensions, inventory dimensions, all that, right? So on and so forth. So But functionally, you have to do a fit gap analysis to see the processes and customizations that I've built in 2009. Does it make sense to carry them forward as is? Or does it actually make sense to re-implement in the target, right? Our tool, the data migration 2009 data migration tool, actually does very simple analysis on your existing 2009 database. I'll demo what type of analysis it does later. With that kind of information in hand, create a project plan accordingly. Right? So in your project plan, it should probably consist of these similar three phases. You first do analysis, right? Gather all the data, predict how much time I have to do, how many new features I'm implementing, how much existing features I can migrate, how long do I have to do this, how many iterations I need to do for my data migration, testing time, cutover, runs, UAT, so on and so forth, right? You just planned out exactly like such. And so during the execution phase, you implement whatever new feature you want to implement. If anything that makes sense to move forward, you move it forward. Also, you need to perform data migration, which is what we're going to focus here. In the validation phase, we shipped a validation workspace, which Robert's going to get into the details. We shipped it primarily focusing on targeting 2012, but it's such a generic workspace, you can actually customize it and add 2009 specific tasks in that workspace, right? So you can use it as a placeholder for a run book. So you can create tasks to say, after the migration, please go check opening balance for all my financial accounts, right? Or make sure after migration, the customer counts in 2009 matches the customer counts in D365. Obviously, functional task paths, UAT, all that should be done exactly the same way as if you were doing an implementation project, right? Should be not different than any other implementation project you have done in the past. Obviously, cutover testing, you have to do it multiple times before your production live cutover when you officially turn off that 2009 instance and turn your D365 on. We'd definitely recommend you guys to have a cutover run book. It's a very detailed run book of what needs to happen, who's doing what at what time. Right? And that process, that run book needs to be exercised months and weeks before your official cutover. Right? And obviously, this entire, I'll talk about different approaches we have in terms of how we move data, which environment the data should go. During production, data goes from where to where. So I have a couple of slides to talk about that. But before we get into that, let's talk about exactly what this tool is, right? Exactly what this data migration tool does. Just with any other data migration project or ETL process, we go through different phases, right? So first, you look at your existing database. You do an analysis to say, hey, how much data do I have in this database? Then we do a pre-processing, whether it be validation or deduping, right? Whatever you need to do here. Then you extract from that existing database into a file that's recognizable by your future target system. And then you load it to your target system, most likely to a staging area where you do validation or transformation. And then from a staging area, finally into your target tables, right? Very standard set of ETL steps that you would do in any other type of data migration project. So we use exactly the same step. This last 4 step, load, validate, target, and validate, is done inside of D365, while the first 3 step, analysis, pre-processing, I apologize about the font. Here it says pre-processing. So analyze, pre-processing, and extract on the source, which is 2009. So exactly what do we provide? And obviously, you asked, why do you have 2 validate on the target side? Because, well, you validate once during staging, do whatever you can, and then when the data is moved from staging to target, you can validate again on your target table. And this just says this is going to be an iterative process, because if you have large amounts of master data or whatever data you want to migrate from source, the time it takes to load those data into target system could be long. Right? So longer it takes to load, what does that mean? the longer your downtime is, right? For some businesses, they can't afford a long downtime. So you should try your best to optimize that process. And the tool is capable of giving you incremental load capabilities. So you can first load is going to be the whole thing, and then every single subsequent load is going to be the delta. Right? So that's super nice feature. So we support that out of the box. In terms of a high-level architecture, so back in 2000, so this entire process is built on DIXF, the Data Import and Export Framework. But the thing is, back in 2009, we did not have a DIXF, right? So we kind of created a miniaturized version of DIXF service and give it to you for 2009 extraction. Essentially, what that thing does is it consists of two parts. It consists of a Windows service that runs and generates SSIS packages so that SSIS can take data from your 2009 database and put it into a file. Okay? Another component to the tool is a whole bunch of X++ code that does basic transformations. Remember we talked about the data schema between 2009 and D365? Well, these scripts will kind of transform those data schemas into a flat formation that's recognizable by the target entity, right? So two parts that we're going to deploy. It's part of our tool. And after the script kind of normalizes all the target tables into this staging area, SSIS package will run, grab the data from the staging from the source, and then move them into a zip file, a data package file. If you're familiar with how D365 works, you'll understand what a data package is. It's just essentially a package that has the data file itself with some mapping information in there, right? We'll then take that data package and load it into the target system. How am I doing on time?
Okay.
It's just half an hour here.
Yeah.
Is it? Let me just check on time, guys.
You have 15 minutes.
Okay, cool. Since we did Q&A, kind of, so I just want to make sure I don't want to run over, Robert. Okay, in terms of approach, so we talk about when should I start the project? We have incremental load, but where do I put my data, right? What environment should I be doing this first migration exercise in, right? So we recommend first find just the developer one box, all right? Or any one of your 2009 environment that you have, existing environment. Grab a copy of your production, put it on there. Just do the basic exercise of what we just talked about. From source, extract data packages into a data package and load it into D365. Right? Just make sure your developer and your data migration team is familiar with that process. So we do extraction for your setup and configuration data, load it into a dev environment, and validate. That's the target D365 system. Once you make sure this process actually works end to end, load the data into a Gold configuration box, right? That Gold configuration environment would be a target D365 sandbox environment. And then you start incrementally load from your 2009 system to that Gold configuration sandbox. And then, obviously, before your production cutover, you have to exercise posting your opening balance to that instance to make sure that that journal you're generating from 2009 is actually properly posted to D365, and then all your accounts balances actually matches on the both sides. So that exercise, yes?
The exit that you made for 2009, can you customize it for our own set of data?
Very good question. So the question is, the tools we made for 2009, can you customize it? In order, if you have a custom table or have a custom fields on the table, if those are the things you want to do, our tool actually out of the box supports it. You don't have to customize the code to do that. In order to move a custom table or a custom field on an existing table. So that capability comes out of the box. But if you made schema changes between your 2009 table and D365, then you need to do some custom transform. Then you need to write code. Does that make sense? Yep. Mapping is configurable. Yeah. Yes, very good question. So 2012, we have multi-site, so you have to actually turn it on in order for the site to be show up in the inventory dimension. In D365, works a little different. So our recommendation is, if you don't use multi-site, re-implement it on the target site. Just use the default site on the target and then do your transformations there. Don't turn it on, from the source just for migration. Yep. So I kind of have to hurry up here because I don't want to run over Robert. I know that's a lot of good questions. It's good. So in terms of production migration approach, so remember we loaded stuff into the Go configuration box. We've exercised posting to open balance. Obviously, you have this box that has migrated data loaded, right? Make sure to take a copy of that data and put it in your UAT environment and exercise your UAT on top of that data, right? That feedback loop needs to be complete. I'm sure there's some bugs or holes can be filtered out through that UAT process that's run on your real production migrated data, right? So that's super important. After that's done, obviously, when you officially cut over, that should just be a smoke test, right? Because you can't afford to do a full cycle test during your production cutover downtime. So do some smoke test, and then post your open balances, move your open documents. Once your final load is complete, turn off your 2009 and turn your D365 on. Okay? So I'm going to do a quick 5-minute demo just to show you guys the tool. Okay, so if you guys have not seen the tool, remember I talked about there's two parts to the tool. One part is actually inside of 2009 X++ script. So we've created a new pane here that it's called data migration area. And then another part is the DIAccept service that I actually have running on the same machine. So in terms of configuration, I actually have, I need to connect to the existing 2009 database so that we can read from the database, right? So there's your configuration for the source side. And then we have a configuration page to the target side because we're real-time pulling information on data entities from D365 in order for us to map, right? And also we enable you to push data packages directly into D365. That's why we need the target connection as well. Okay, and then there's a couple of system parameters that you can set up. Remember we talked about this tool will actually make it easy for you to map different things. For example, dimensions, inventory dimensions, financial dimensions, chart of accounts, right? Your ledger in 2009, it's per company, and there's no shared chart of accounts. And your chart of accounts in D365 or 2012 absolutely can be shared, right? So things that way can work a little different. So let's just go through each one of these kind of quickly. We do have existing videos that we actually go into this in details. So if you sign up for the preview program, you'll have access to those videos where we go into each one of these items in details. But now I just want to show you guys some of the things that we do out of the box. So for example, we'll automatically discover how many dimensions you guys have on the source system. We'll help you to map it to a target dimension, right? We'll make sure when you extract the data package, when you load it to the target, the dimensions are generated properly. And we do support custom dimensions as well. For inventory dimensions, you can see the site is over here. If you have multi-site enabled already, that is automatically will be checked. If you don't, we don't check that. And then we'll make sure we map properly, because 2009 you have your item dimensions and you have your storage dimensions. We don't really have a product dimension on the 2009 side, right? Things works a little different. There's item dimension combination on the 2009 side, but then it's variant on the target side, right? So we take care of all that. You guys don't have to worry about anything. Just make sure you have the right dimensions over here checked. Our massage code will make sure your data from the source side, your item dimension combination and all that gets massaged properly into the equal-res star system of tables and then loaded into the target system properly, right? So the tool itself takes care of all that. In terms of your chart of accounts, you can see here I have created a new chart of accounts. And I say this chart of accounts is actually shared by these list of 3 legal entities, right? So, and then you can set actually a temporary account for posting to your open balances, right? And then on your ledger, you can say, yep, simply because of the fact that I actually created a chart of accounts and shared with 3 legal entities. On the ledger, you'll see it automatically generates 3 company-specific ledgers, and with the same, against which you can actually assign an account structure, right? So the account structure on the target side consists of 3 things, right? Chart of accounts, your ledger, your chart of accounts, and your account structures. So we take care of that underneath the hood. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to do, so the question is, because on the storage dimension, things in the storage dimension on each side is different, so can you map it? We automatically takes care of that. Only thing you have to do is we make sure to extract the right things from the source system, put it into the staging table. If you map things properly from the staging to the target entities, we'll make sure things are moved to the target properly. Yeah, so if you have functionality, new functionalities you want to enable on the target side, we don't recommend you can do tricks on the target entities to kind of do some magic when you load data into the target. There's 2 school of thoughts, right? Say, when I load the data, do some magic there, so it automatically shows up as the right items, right designs on my target side. And the other school of thoughts is, I just migrate the data and then I do some massaging later on the target system. You can do either.
Okay. Paul, type check.
Yes. So this is the setup. I'm just going to do a quick demo just to show you guys the process. So I have cost group here. I'm just going to select that to migrate. Just pick an easy one, say ignite test. So this tool can actually automatically detect, besides cost table, what else do I need to move? Because cost table actually has a reference to the payment terms. It'll add the payment term to my migration group. I can just go ahead and create a migration group based on these 2 entities. I'll say save. So you can see here the entities are automatically added. And then I can say apply sequence. Notice the sequence is all 0 here. After I apply the sequence, it automatically detects the dependency between the 2 entities. It will say, oh yeah, payment term needs to go there before cost group, right? So we do as much as we can to help you guys. And we say, generate, now extract the data package, but not only extract, also load it into the target system, which is done by this click. I'll say OK. So on the target side, I'll show you guys I don't have anything on my customer group. This is a brand new legal entity that I've created. Oh, I've lost my connection. So there's no cost group here. You'll see data project that actually come in. It's called Ignite, of course. I've been idle for a while. You'll see the Ignite test data project come in. Obviously, this runs in the batch mode. So within a minute or 2, this will show up. But I'll show you guys this later. I'll give the mic to Robert.
Done. OK. Thanks, Paul.
Yep.
So we're going to switch gear a little bit and talk about AX 2012 and switch screens as well. So for AX 2012, it is an upgrade. We're not calling it migration because we actually support an end-to-end process to do a full upgrade of your code and data from AX 2012 to Dynamics 365 for finance and operations, also known as AX7 for the rest of this session. So here's the roadmap. Currently, we have a number of customers that are in a TAP program that are actually upgrading from AX 2012. If you're not in the TAP, if you want to be in a TAP program, I have a link later for you to basically apply for it. But by the end of this year, we're planning to make it generally available to all 2012 R3 customer. We'll make the whole process available. There is self-serve, and you can upgrade yourself or with the help of your partner. And as 2018 comes, we're planning to add support for more versions of AX 2012. We'll start with R2. We are also thinking of a program to upgrade from 2012 to Dynamics 365 for operations on-premise as well, also sometime during 2018. It's worth noting that upgrade tools like the code upgrade service and the data upgrade tool are actually available today. When I talk about a preview program that is going GA at the end of the year, it is just the end-to-end process of upgrading the methodology, analysis tools, and other tools that help with code and data upgrade. But the code upgrade tool and data upgrade tool are already generally available. They are available on all finance and operations environments. Here's the link if you're interested to register for the TAP program if you don't want to wait for it to be generally available. The TAP program also includes some R2 upgrades, so we're starting to preview not just R3, R2 as well. I'll start with an overview of the end-to-end process. Again, like what Paul showed, it's analyze, execute, and validate. We keep repeating this over and over again, and we're going to present you with a methodology and tools that help you at each phase. In the analyze phase, you are estimating and analyzing your upgrade tasks. You are doing fit gap analysis, and at the end, you're creating a project plan. In the execute phase, you're doing some preparation on the X 2012 database. You are actually executing your code upgrade, and then you're doing your data upgrade. And in the validate phase, you're doing validation, a functional test pass, and a full cutover testing before you actually go live. I'll go in more details later. A more detailed overview of the procedure looks like this. In the evaluation phase, you sign up for lifecycle services. It's a trial project. You run an estimate on your data upgrade. You run an estimate on your code upgrade. You run an estimate on your code upgrade, and you run data analysis. We have a data analysis tool or an upgrade analysis tool that comes in this trial project that helps you analyze your X 2012 data and optimize it. Then you deploy a demo or sandbox environment of AX7 or of finance and operations. This is where you do your fit gap analysis. And at the end, you create a project plan. That's the end of your evaluate phase. Then you move to the execute phase, and at this stage, you are a part of your implementation. You have purchased, in the right box here, you have already purchased AX7 or finance and operations. And this is where you do your preparation tasks that were recommended in the analysis phase. You do the code upgrade, you do the data upgrade, you do the code upgrade, you develop new code, because your fit gap analysis might have led to maybe some customization is needed, or customizations are no longer needed. You might want to delete them, and so on. Then you execute a data upgrade. You move to the validate phase. You execute a data upgrade on a dev box. You do your cutover testing. You create a cutover plan. You also do a data upgrade on a sandbox. All of this in preparation for your go live. And as you notice, a lot of my slides, if you have, once you have access to them, I have links to the official doc of this process on our docs site. Even though the program is in preview, we have documented in details what each of these steps entails. Once you join the upgrade process, you'll be presented with a methodology. The methodology is a step-by-step approach to the entire upgrade cycle. So you will have an analysis tasks, you will have execute tasks, and you have validation tasks. On top of this, the methodology has links to all the docs you need. It also has links to all the automated tools that help you do that. It's a really nice approach. We're still developing it. It is in preview today, as I said, and it'll be final by the end of the year. To get started, you sign up for a lifecycle services trial project. This is a finance and operations project. This is not an AX 2012 project. And then you set the project methodology to upgrade Dynamics AX to Dynamics 365 for finance and operation. Right now, if you do so, you will not see the methodology. You have to be in the TAP program, so we make it available to you. But once you are, you will have access to that methodology. Again, links to more details. And I'm going fast. You know, this is a very complex and long topic, so I'll leave some room for Q&A at the end. But if you want more details, as I mentioned, please feel free to go to our docs site, and it explains more about the process. So analyze. What do you do in the analyze phase? Once you sign up, This is basically a repetition of what I said. You're estimating how much it's going to take you to prepare your AX2012 DB. You're estimating your code upgrade effort, and you are deploying a sandbox environment of AX7 for a fit gap analysis. At the end, you create a project plan. The upgrade analysis is actually an automated tool. I'll show a couple of snapshots with it. It actually analyzes your AX2012 database and does a lot of recommendations for you to minimize downtime and minimize the size of your database when you end up in the finance and operation world. It's a very powerful tool. We're going to keep improving on it, but it really helps in the upgrade process. It's a key part of the whole upgrade process. The things it can identify are data cleanup. It recommends some cleanup on your AX2012 databases. It recommends some SQL optimization, some configuration of your SQL database. It identifies features that you are using that are deprecated and does recommendation what you can do with those. And it also creates a checklist of tasks you need to do in AX2012 before you even start your upgrade. It's a pretty handy tool. It actually generates a Power BI report in your LCS project. This is a sample report, for example. Here it's saying you can save 1.38 gigabytes in your database side if you follow some recommendation. You have 17 tasks in your checklist that you need to do. There are 9 optimizations to your SQL database, and you are using 4 deprecated features. It's a Power BI report you can drill through. For example, if you drill through, you get to, this is a couple of cleanup tasks I picked. It's telling you to clean up your user log and clean up your master plan log. And it's quite details as to how you go ahead and do so. This is an actual detailed report that you can drill to from the Power BI report that you get. It's important because Paul mentioned that when you buy finance and operations, based on the number of users, you get for free or included in the service a certain size of database. But after you increase that size, your subscription cost increases with the size of your database. So coming with a clean, smaller DB, you are not only saving downtime, you're actually saving cost on yourself or on your customer if you're a partner. SQL optimizations are also tasks that it recommends. It's usually a database administrator that does it. It's some SQL setup, SQL configurations you need to do. It also helps in reducing downtime and cost. Once it identifies deprecated features, it's also this analysis tool. It usually has suggestions what to do with them. This ends up being work in your fit gap analysis. It's kind of related. So as a part of the analysis phase, and you have run the analysis tool, and it gave you a list of things to do before you upgrade, you have a pretty good idea how much it's going to cost you in time and resources. You can also estimate your code upgrade. Code upgrade is a service, is an automated service in LCS. You can run it in estimate mode only. This code upgrade tool actually converts all your code from the X2012 XPO format to XML. It merges most of your conflicts automatically because the customization framework in AX7 or finance and operation is very granular. So most of the conflicts and so on are automatically merged. But on top of this, if there are things that you have to manually do, it creates tasks in your VSTS project of everything that is left for you to manually do once the automated service has completed that. And it gives you Excel reports also of the process. So in this analysis phase, you are basically using the code upgrade service. Not to run the code upgrade. You could run it if you want to, but you're only estimating the effort. You're actually not executing the code upgrade. Here's an example of how to run it. You have to have a VSTS project. And you will see this in all the lifecycle tools of finance and operations, not only in upgrade or data lifecycle. Having a VSTS project is a key component of implementing AX7. It's free to sign up for VSTS. It's free for up to 5 users. And after that, it's a small subscription cost if you have more than 5 users in your VSTS project. You configure code upgrade in LCS, basically linking the LCS project to your VSTS project. You create a code upgrade job. You select it's an estimation only. You upload your AX2012 model store to LCS, and you run the upgrade. At the end, you end up with a summary report. Migration summary report is a code analysis. It tells you how many customizations you have, how much overlaying you do. It gives you an idea about your form patterns. It's basically a good summary of your code and how it looks like, of your custom code, of how it looks like. Another useful report is the task list, are all the remaining manual tasks that you have to go through, usually in your development environment, to complete the upgrade process. So the estimates the task list give you are rough estimates. In my opinion, they're conservative. They're actually a little bit more than it'll actually take you. So for example, if you have a to-do item to replace a method that has been deprecated with something else, we estimate it to be sometimes, I believe, 1 unit, and 1 unit is 1 hour. Sometimes it'll take 5 minutes. It's really a simple job, but there are some tasks we estimate for 1 hour that will actually take 1 hour itself. In what I've seen is the estimates you get are actually conservative. It will take you less time to actually get to a state where your code compiles and runs. Then this is also an important slide. It's in orange because if your AX 2012 model store has ISV models, you're going to get estimates that also includes all the work your ISV has to do. So anything related to third-party estimates you can ignore, because at the end we're going to ask you to ask your ISV to give you a finance and operations or an upgraded model of your things. So it's important. This is something that is not very well supported in the code upgrade service right now, which means it's always upgrading all your code and estimating the entire upgrade. We are planning to add support maybe by the end of this year or early next year, where it recognizes that you have an ISV model. So as you're running the code upgrade service, you can say, OK, this is not my code. This is coming from a third party, and it has been upgraded already. I have the new ISV code in my LCS asset library. And the estimate and the run will only upgrade your part of the code and will grab the new ISV code as a new baseline. This is something we want to do. We want to improve it. But at this stage, it's taking the whole code base. The question is, do you give the option to remove the third party in the process? We don't, but actually, if you see how the code upgrade service works, you can ignore it. So we actually take code and we check it in a new branch in VSTS. We're not putting it in any main development branch. And it's all organized by models. So you literally can go to your version control system, right-click on the folders of the models of these ISVs and delete them if you have no dependency on them. That's a very good question. So the question is if some of you are familiar with the customization model of AX7, are we moving the code into overlaying or into extension, which is the preferred way to customize in AX7? We are doing both. We move to extensions when we can, but there are things that stay as overlaying because there are things that cannot automatically be refactored. So it will be up to the migration process, the manual migration process, to move them to extensions. And the code upgrade service, it's worth noting that it comes with LCS. And LCS ships every month. Actually, very soon we're going to start shipping LCS every 2 weeks. So over the last several months and over the next several months, you're going to see incremental changes and incremental improvements to this code upgrade service. We don't ship large features every 6 or 7 months. You'll start seeing more support for extensions, for example, and so on. So the last stage of your, or the stage before the last of your analyze is a fit gap analysis. At this stage, you are deploying a finance and operations environment, and you are looking at the deprecated features, seeing what do you need to do. You're doing a fit gap analysis to figure out what to do in this new AX7 world. You're also looking at features that are new in finance and operations or AX7 and comparing them with existing customizations you have, possibly leading you to delete existing customization in AX2012 because they're either obsolete or not needed anymore, and so on. Once all of this is done, you create a project plan. We highly recommend, out of all of this analysis phase, you actually have a clear project plan. We have a sample project plan in the LCS methodology. It's a Microsoft project file that you can open from the methodology that guides you through all these phases, so you can basically add your data to it, your nodes, and additional tasks you have. So you've reached the end of the analysis phase. You're very confident you can do this. You know exactly how much time is gonna take you, how much money is gonna cost you. At least that's the goal of the analysis phase. You start your execution. At this stage, you have to, until now, you're in trial mode. You have not purchased finance and operations. At this stage, you need to purchase finance and operations because you will be working in an actual implementation project in LCS. First thing you do is you go through the preparation tasks that the analysis tool of the analyze phase gave you, and you make sure you complete all of them. It is very important to complete all of these before you move on to the next steps. It will make your upgrade much simpler, much easier, and actually less costly. There's a pre-upgrade checklist that you will run. That's a part of your analysis that was mentioned during the analysis phase that you will run in this phase. It's actually a hotfix that you'll install on your AX 2012 environment. It is almost like what Paul showed on AX 2009. It adds some new functionality that will help you go through a checklist that prepares your database for upgrade. For example, a sample tool it has is the mapping of your users to their AAD equivalent, because as you know, finance and operations uses Azure Active Directory for authentication. So that checklist, you go through it on your AX 2012 environment, and you should complete it. Also, a link to the docs that have more details of what this entails. Then you do your code upgrade. I spoke enough about the code upgrade, but I'm going to mention a couple more things. Get new versions of your ISV solutions if you're running on ISVs before you do your code upgrade. Once the code is converted, first aim for a successful compile. Don't worry too much about your fit gap analysis. Don't worry too much about moving your overlaying to extensions, because even though we encourage extensions and at some point they will be deprecated in the future, overlaying still works. So get to the stage where your application compiles and you can run it. That should be your first focus of the code upgrade. And as you are compiling the entire applications, as most of you or some of you already know, finance and operations, or X7, is a set of models. It's not like one large AOT like it used to be in AX 2012. So compile the lowest ones first, and these models depend on each other. So you have the application model depending on directory, the directory depending on foundation, et cetera, et cetera. So start compiling from the lowest to the highest. You start with the platform model, then the foundation model. Then you move on to higher layer. And there are tools in the development environment that basically show you the dependencies between model and how you should move about. And at the end, you can refactor customizations to extensions. We still support overlaying, as I said. So this is a part of your project that you might decide to do in phase 2 if you want to reduce the initial upgrade cost. But you could also do it from the beginning as well. When you're done with code upgrade, you will be executing data upgrade. Data upgrade comes in the form of a deployable package. It can be deployed on a development environment. It upgrades your data from AX 2012 to finance and operations. You also validate after that. Then you run the same data upgrade process on a sandbox tier 2 environment, which is the multi-box UAT environment that comes with your subscription. Any questions? I'm doing OK on time? Go ahead. Yeah, that's a great question. The question is, how are we, it looks like a line here, but it's a little more than a line in reality. How are you moving this AX? When you move to the Tier 2 sandbox environment in AX7, it's a SQL Azure database. How do you do that? So the process that you will get out of the box by the end of the quarter is we will ask you to create a backpack of your file in AX 2012. You can do it using SQL Server Management Studio. Upload it to the LCS asset library, and you will go to LCS, click a button, and we'll do the transformation for you. This will be LCS supported. So the manual part on your side is to create that backpack file and upload it to the LCS asset library. So we are heavily investing in this. We want it to be as simple as that. The way it is today in the preview program, it's the same. You create a backpack file. We expect you to take that backpack file by remote desktoping to the Tier 2 environment. And there's a script that we provide, and actually this documentation where you can restore it and do that work. But we want to get rid of the remote desktop part of the whole thing and allow you to do it via LCS. Now, a key thing here is when we start talking about really, really large databases, uploading a backpack and doing this operation can take a day. It depends. So we are considering different approaches, and Paul's team is actually considering incremental upgrade approach. So we have different ideas when we get to really large databases where just uploading a backpack file might not cut it. I think this process supports up to 500 gigabytes. You're OK? You wait several hours, a couple of hours, 3 hours, but up to 500 gigabytes, I think this current process will work. Really large is what? What's a really large? Terabyte?
Yeah, it really depends, too. Even for the 500 gig, it should be OK, like what Robert was saying. But if you have large amounts of data in, say, Ledger Journal Trends table, which is a table that had some schema changes, and you have to run a data script over it, then that takes a long time.
Yeah.
So it really depends how your data distributes.
So it is something that we're actually working towards. We have ideas like, for example, allowing you to do replication of your SQL Server database with SQL Azure DB in your own subscription, and then allowing, when you get to that stage, allowing a copy from SQL Azure to the Microsoft subscription SQL Azure, which is a very quick operation. So there are plenty of ways we are working on supporting that. Yes?
So it is possible to go straight from 2012 R2, not R3 to 365, or do you have to hop into R3?
That's a good question. Is it possible to go from R3 to Dynamics 365, R2 to 365 without a hop? Yes, it is possible. It's in preview today. That's in preview. Both R3 and R2 are in preview today. We are making R3 generally available by the end of the year, and R2 sometimes in the first quarter of 2018.
And for the solutions that are third-party and custom, are you seeing that customers who are moving to the 365 version being able to get rid of those customizations and still meet the business need? Are you seeing a lot more features that are available in 365 meeting those custom requirements?
So the question is, are we seeing enough new features in Dynamics 365 that customizations are not needed anymore? In some cases, that is correct. But in the case of ISV solutions, because these are a lot more than customization, they're actual solutions for specific verticals and so on, you will still need to bring your ISV code in some cases, yeah. So we get to the validate phase.
You got a question there.
One more question there. Yeah, hi, Marcus. Can you raise your voice a little bit, please, Mark? Oh, good question. Do we support upgrade to on-premise? Today, we don't, but it's the only to on-premise. But the only reason we're saying we don't because we're not focusing on it, as in we're not working on the end-to-end process, the LTS methodology, and so on. But the database, the schema, and the framework are the same. The only difference between on-premise and Dynamics 365 for operation in the cloud is the deployment model. So we will support it sometime in 2018, but I don't anticipate a lot of changes we need to do to support it. It's only a matter of us validating the process and figuring out more lifecycle tools we need to give you. So for example, the example I just gave you right now, LCS, we support LCS moving a database from on-prem to the cloud. We're going to have the same equivalent thing to move it from on-prem to on-prem. So these are the types of things that we're not working on right now. But the actual data upgrade, code upgrade, and all the core pieces of the process are exactly the same.
Yes, so we didn't test data package in the context of the 2009 data migration tool, but we did test loading of a data package in LBD. So that process works exactly the same. So that will work.
LBD as in on-premises?
On-premises.
Yes. So once you get to the validate phase, this is an overview of it. You're doing your data upgrade in a development and a sandbox. That's kind of a part of both execute and validate. And then you start doing the cutover testing. And as you know, the cutover is the process of moving data from a legacy system to a new system, including configurations on the new system. And during the cutover period, the legacy system is frozen or it's down. That's why it is crucial. It's very important to have cutover testing, and at the end to create a cutover plan that will make sure you have tested the whole process end to end, and you can predict downtime, and to actually make sure you have as minimal downtime as possible. So as part of the validate procedure, you're doing cutover testing, you're creating a cutover plan, you're also doing functional testing on the upgraded data. And there's also a pre-go live checklist that we document on our docs site that you have to go through before you actually go live. And again, all of these phases are documented or are described in the methodology that you will get, and you get links to the tools and documentation you need. There's a data upgrade validation tool that is in progress. We haven't released yet. We're working on it. That is similar to the analysis tool that I showed. The analysis tool is already available. This upgrade validation tool, once you do the upgrade, it does like a smoke test on your new environment to verify basic things like, is the server running? Are the retail components running? Is the financial reporting service running? Is the expected data there? Does the general ledger reconcile to AX 2012? Does inventory reconcile, et cetera? So it is a basic, before you go into your functional test, it basically tells you not only you're done, but the data that is in your database is exactly like it's supposed to be. So we are developing that tool right now. It also is based on the LCS diagnostic service as well, just like the other analysis tool. The plan is to give a report that looks like this. It's telling you, OK, the update package worked, AOS is running, financial reporting is running, retail is running. Another report that basically goes through all the entities that you have moved, the main entities. It tells you, yeah, you had 1,000 customers on AX 2012. Yeah, I can see that you have 1,000 customers on your AX7, so on. It does, for example, sum of debits for, it compares the sum of debits on one system to the sum of debits on the other, and so on. So this we think is going to save you a lot of time in your validation, and this way you can focus mostly on your functional validation, not making sure that the data in the database is actually correct, or write your own script for those. In addition to this, for functional validation, and Paul slightly mentioned this during his presentation, there's a workspace within Dynamics 365 for finance and operation. It's a data validation workspace. By default, it comes pre-configured with some tasks that actually think of every task as a validation task links to a menu item. So you go to it, you say this task is in progress, you click on the menu item, it takes you where it's supposed to do, it runs the process, or some of it are manual depending on the menu item it links to, and comes back. So it's a checklist that manages and controls what validation you need to do on your application. We ship a demo one, but it's very configurable. You can add any task you want, delete tasks. It's portable as well. You can export it as a data package, import it in another environment, and so on. This comes out of the box in the project. And since out of the box in X7, but since it's a data package, we periodically ship a new version of it for demo purposes in LCS. You can grab it from the LCS asset library and import it back. You had a question? Do you mind if you raise your voice? Is the migration of management reporter part of this? It is not, but management reporter knows how to grab, basically it's data. As far as I know, I'm not an expert in MR, I have to say this, but its data actually comes from the X2012 database. So yes, it will be migrated, and it will actually reset itself to grab all the data it needs from the X2012 database.
Yeah, we do have a process to help you to migrate all your
Yes.
MR reports.
Mm-hmm. So final test of the validate phase, as I mentioned, you do the cutover testing, how you're going about to do all of these processes during the execute phase. There's a technical aspect of your cutover testing, which is moving the databases, running the data upgrade, and so on. There's a functional aspect, which is the app validation that I just mentioned. You complete the functional testing, and you create a solid cutover plan. I mean, this is key. We don't recommend you actually upgrade without a solid cutover plan based on all the analysis and the testing you have done. And then you start your pre-go live preparation. Things like you freeze your code. You stop making any code changes on your legacy system. You freeze configurations. You stop making configuration changes. And at some point, and at this stage, you'll do a final cutover test. I don't know why I have a question mark there. That shouldn't be there. You need a final cutover test, even though you may have done several cutover tests before that, to make sure things are going to go OK. Now you're ready to go live. You deploy a production environment in finance and operations in your LCS implementation project. You submit a service request through LCS to the service engineering team. And I have to say, this process is going to be a little more automated as we get closer to the GA date. So right now, you just need to indicate to the DSE team as part of the service request to be prepared for an upgrade. You give them the heads up. This is the downtime time. This is the time I can start the upgrade. I can take downtime on these dates and so on. So once there is an agreed date and time, downtime starts. You upload the backpack of your X2012 database to the asset library. You import that database to the Tier 2 environment. That's also an LCS tool. You submit a service request, a second one, to the DSE team, telling them, upgrade me. Then they will go and run the data upgrade themselves on the production environment. You complete a smoke test. Sometimes there are some post-upgrade configuration tasks you need to do. And then you allow the users back in, and you're live. So this process here is a part of your cutover plan. You should have tested it several times before you actually get to the point of this. And the goal of having a good cutover plan is to make this process faster and less prone to errors, because you don't want to run into an error during the go live phase. And we have 15 minutes for question and answer, which is great time for that. Go ahead. And I think if you have questions for X2009 as well, please go ahead. So in my experience, how long does it take to migrate from this? This is $1 million question. So yeah, I can give you an example of there is one customer that does not have ISV models in their solution of AX2012 that started on the preview program a month ago. And I'm telling you the short story. That started on the preview program a month ago. They are planning to go live in 2 weeks. This is a customer that has a small number of customization and does not depend on ISV code upgrade. So this is a simple example. They have a sizable database. But the answer to your question is, the more customizations you have, the more ISV solutions you depend on, and the larger the size of your database is going to basically make that time longer. Mm-hmm. So we just launched It did? I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
Sorry. So we just launched it last year. We just used it last year.
Use what? The code upgrade service?
2012.
2012?
I think they just went live last year.
Oh, you just went live yet? Yes. Yes. Yes, maybe we can take this question right after that session, and you can talk to Paul. Paul has a lot of hands-on experience in Upgrade as well, so yeah. Other questions? I'll take him first, and then I'll get to you. Go ahead.
ISVs extend this upgrade functionality as well to their data.
The question is, can ISVs extend the functionality to their data upgrade? Absolutely, yes. The way the data upgrade scripts work, you actually write an X++ class that, and this is similar to, I don't know how long you've been in the X ecosystem. It's very similar to how it used to be in the past. You write an X++ class that does the data transformation for you. And they're really simple class to write as long as you know what should turn into what. And once you write these classes, and if they're a part of your code base, the data upgrade process picks them up and does the ISV upgrade. So the data upgrade process doesn't only upgrade the out-of-the-box schema. It upgrades every table that has an upgrade script. So yes, we do. You had a question there, yeah.
Just talking about performance, any recommendations as to what the server spec should be or best practices? I mean, irrespective of 2009 or before.
Any recommendations what the service spec of what?
Server specifications when using the data migration tool.
Do you want to answer this?
Sure, yeah,
Paul?
that's a tricky question.
Yeah. It's 2009, right? You're
so-
talking. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So technically, the beefier the hardware you can put underneath it, the higher your DTU you have in your production system, the quicker your upgrade is going to run, right? However, when you purchase your production, we size it against your transaction volume. We don't size it against your data migration or upgrade process, right? So according to your peak production size, you could end up with, say, a P5 behind the scene. But we don't ever tell you the details of what tier of DTU you get, right? So we are in current discussion of, is there an option to temporarily turn on the DTU for Azure SQL while you guys are doing production cutover and turn it back down? So that goes back to the requirement when we say, please run this process, mock cutover process, iteratively many times, and trying to tune that process as much as possible. Right? For 2009, we don't see this as big of a problem because you're only migrating master. Right? It shouldn't be a problem there. Also, because of the fact that we actually support incremental load. For 2012, obviously, try your best to reduce, number one, try to reduce the size of your database as much as possible. Use the data upgrade analysis tool. Use the IDMF tool, if possible, to do some archiving. And then also make sure you run the data upgrade process iteratively, tune that process, make sure you have the right indexes in place, and all that. After you've done all that necessary, your due diligence, and you still have like a 16-hour upgrade process, then we can look at how we can turn the DTU up to make it fast, to go faster.
Okay. There's time for one more question. Well, you can only get one. The question is around AppSource. Are we getting the ISVs or the apps from AppSource? Oh, how do you, yeah, for Dynamics, for finance and operations, from AppSource, it provides you with a trial environment first. Once you like the trial and you make an actual, you contract with your ISV, there is a way using LCS for the ISV to distribute your solutions to you. And that solutions comes in the form of, in AX7, it's called a deployable package. But also, if the ISV wants you to also customize their solution, they provide you models which are source code. So in most cases, an ISV solution comes as in addition to a bunch of other things like data packages. We make them create data packages for you, configuration packages, and so on. It also comes with code, which are model, and deployable packages, which are runtime versions of the models to be deployed. So it's a transaction that happens offline and off-source, the contractual transaction. But the actual distribution of code happens via LCS. OK, we ran out of time. Thank you. But we'll stick around a little bit if you have more questions offline. Yeah.
Thank you.